All right. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to October. This is your astronumerology reading with Shaman Dr. Friesen. And I know we're moving into Scorpio season. So, hey, yay for you guys. All right. So, here we go with the reading in the 10th month, which is a one. But before we get started, we're going to do what we do for everyone is to pull a lesson card for you. Run my hands over the cards. I've already shuffled the cards. Two cards tried to come out, but we're only going to take one lesson for you. All right. Can you see that? Peace. Ooh, Scorpio. I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. You need peace this month, Scorpio. So you need to focus on some peaceful activities, things that calm your mind down, right? And of course, 1 October is associated with fall normally, right? The season change, it becomes a little bit cooler, temperatures go down a little bit, and that's what we need for you to do is to let the temperatures go down a little bit. It's not a good time for arguing, it's a good time for peace and love and harmony. And one is also about changing new directions, sometimes new business ventures, new jobs, new homes, new vehicles, new family situations, a lot of change and newness. The other side of it is that because we have come off of a season of endings and we're still in it, a healing season, you can also have a ego death, right? That you might be dealing with who you thought you were, you may now know you're someone slightly different and you're coming to terms with it. And maybe you're moving different to reflect the true you, your true self during this season. Okay. Be careful of being rigid and just not flexible at all because life is full of change and you have to embrace it in order to thrive. If you don't embrace it, you will be burned up with this all of this change. So when it comes to astrology, when we're in the 10th month, which is one, and dealing with the one energy, we're also dealing with the 10 energy. And the 10 energy brings harmony, love, fulfillment, excitement, conclusions, like you've reached something, you've obtained something. You normally get to another level with that 10 energy. We are going to look at the houses associated with the 10 and the 1 and how they are impacted this month in addition to looking at the whatever energy in your from your natal placement is actually moving around. So that's what you can expect with this reading. So for you, we're going to start with what are the houses that are associated with the 1 and 10? What are the constellations, the actual astrological signs associated with 1 and 10, where they are in your chart, and what is today's energy doing? So if we look at in your natal chart of the Scorpio energy, Scorpio rising, remember how you rise towards life. And your natal chart, Scorpio, the eighth sign, would be in the first house, ruled by Mars, meaning action, right? All about action. So that's the first house that's we're going to look at when we look at what energy is going on. We're also going to look at the 10th house, which just so happens to have Leo energy in it, which is another active type energy. It's ruled by the sun, but it's an aggressive movement type energy. So you have those two. Then we're going to look at the third house because the third house has Capricorn in it, which is the 10th sign, right? Which the Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So a little bit old ways, a little bit traditional and thinking and how you approach life. Okay. And then we're going to look at the first house in your natal chart, the Aries. Where is that? That's in the sixth house. So we're looking at the first sign, Aries, and the sixth house, right? And the sixth house, although a lot of people like to think of that as just debt and competition and enemies, but it's also an aspect of health, right? So it could be moving, using old things or old systems to improve your wealth, improve the debt. Or it could be that you have some enemies in your life, some old enemies that you need to deal with and resolve whatever that situation is. right? You could need to let go of some old things, right? You could have some old health concerns that are a focus during this time. And perhaps you need to improve your diet during this time in order to work towards better health, right? So those are the energies that we're going to focus on. At the same time of focusing on those energies, we're going to look at where the Venus and the Saturn and Rahu, where those energies are moving, and see if they're hitting an aspect of one of those charts for you. Okay. So let's start. We're going to start with the 8th of October because that's when I'm making this video for you. Okay. So let's look at the energy that's in, what you say now? The 8th of October. We're looking at some of the we're looking at some of the similar energies to your natal chart in the essence of um some of the how the astrological signs impacting some areas on the same level, the same plane. And now let me open up this other one and just look here. I do use a computer software to pull up the energies while, of course, I'm doing Vedic astrology. So I use a software program to look at where the energies are in the sky at different points. And I want to make sure that I'm in the New York time zone. Okay, there we go. So looking at in the New York time zone, still some of those things are impacted that are in your natal chart, meaning your sixth house is impacted with the Scorpio in there, which is kind of a death kind of energy, or like a poisonous kind of energy in a certain part of the body. So something needs to be reviewed in that sense. Something needs to be evaluated to see what's causing some internal digestion issues. That's what's starting out right now in your energy. I had to double check this because that is rather dangerous because there's also a Mars and a Mercury energy rather close to that area, which could be like a bowel obstruction that kind of like something like bursts open in a sense, intestinal things, or even like diarrhea, that's explosive diarrhea kind of situation going on in that area. And some of it could require hospitalization, but I don't see hospitalization here. I don't see that in the first beginning of your reading. I don't see that anywhere. But we do start out with the Venus and the K2 energy. Um, and remember, I said we're going to look at this energy as it relates to specifically your first house initially, your third house, your sixth house, which is where I just mentioned the illness kind of situation going on, and your actual 10th house. And right now, we start out with the moon covering the energy in your sixth house, means secrets reveal something there in your sixth house that you're not exactly aware of that's going to come to light to let you know what's going on in that area as far as health is concerned. Looks like you could also have some arthritis. bladder complaints could be a thing. Reproductive issues for some of you guys, something with your reproductive system in that area, and definitely a vitamin type deficiency. So I would suggest that you start this October off with going to have a little checkup, right? If you have some complaints in those in that area, go reach out to a healthcare practitioner, and make an appointment and get yourself looked out, because that's the first thing, the first energy that pops up here in your chart. And then because this is a month to focus on those areas in your life for you. So that's your health, your body, right? And then your communication, but your ability to effect change in your life and manifest in your life. And then your career sector, where you're actively working on how you're earning long-term money. Those are the areas that are important. I do see there's a little bit of Mars and Mercury energy kind of aspecting your first house, again with the Rahu, which is your body. There's some things going on in your physical home, secret activity going on in your physical home that you may not be aware of. That's why it's secret. And then that could come to light, or perhaps you're the one with the secrets that someone's going to find out about in that first week of October. That energy is there for you. A little bit of, oh, okay, so you definitely are having some type of arthritis situation go on. That energy is also there. So obviously, this is really an important time for you to get yourself checked out, because those are showing up for you. And continuing on, let's see any other energies. Great time for you to actually start a new exercise regime, a routine, or something, to get your blood flowing appropriately. I see you have a new, it looks like you're actually thinking about love. This is like a secret relationship that's going on here with you, a secret conversation or something about love or romance or something to that effect, that you don't want people to know about. Um, you might start talking about it more this month, like making it no longer be a secret. Uh, that's showing up here. And then there's another thing that's happening. Remember the houses I told you to watch out for? Looks like you're, well, when I say looks like, meaning it is, um, someone else might be spilling the secrets about the relationship that you were involved in. It might be coming to the surface, through somebody else communicating that information. Your mother may find out through some form. You got these secrets, secrets. Okay. So then we keep moving on, and let's see what other energy happens. Do you have any, you have a pretty stable situation with your career. It looks like you're, doesn't look like, unlike everybody else, a lot of other people who are changing jobs, it doesn't look like you're actually changing career paths. Even if you're doing other things, it looks like your career is pretty stable. Um, there are some, maybe some gossip going on at your job, but it's not going to cause you to leave the job. It's just something for you to be aware of. The other thing here, Your relationships is going to be the highlight, and how you have fun is going to be the highlight as well. You have plans to do things, and it looks like if you spend a lot more time with some play time, meaning doing things that bring you joy, whatever relationship you have, you will find some value in it, and you will see that it can be fulfill you in certain ways. But there has to be joy there. Um, this is a time for you to have some courage when it comes to interacting with people. Oh, and look at this. Looks like this is an enterprising time for you, and October is a good time for you to take a small trip, right? So this small trip can rejuvenate you, and it can give you a little bit of extra energy to make it through all the other things that's going on. And maybe you're going to take this trip with someone that you guys may have been secret lovers and decide that we're not going to be secret lovers anymore. So, but secret lovers could not just be physical love. This could also be a person who's contemplating doing a different job, and all of a sudden they come out with, yes, I'm doing this job full time, or a person who has been building a business that they love, but it's been hidden, and now they come out with it and announce it to other people. So when I say secret love, there's three different types, but most people think of it as with a partner. But sometimes what we love is not another human being, it's some other activity, and we sometimes hide it for fear of rejection. So let's see. There's going to come a little bit of time around the 20th that you're going to struggle with feeling like you're not really balancing your life and your home life, especially. And then this is hitting the area with your children. And children are not just your physical children, it could be grandchildren, it could be someone that you feel like you are a mother or a father figure to, that you give advice to, that you maybe feel like maybe you're doing the relationship is one-sided, and you're going to need to bring that back into some balance so that you're not burnt out, because that is the possibility later on, is that you could just become totally exhausted, which could impact your health, because there's a around the 20th there's a health thing that's associated with children happening for you. So it could be directly be your health impacted by the imbalance, or it could be one of your children's health impacted because they're imbalanced in some way. I'm moving forward, looking at the energies. Unlike other people, you have a decent ability to travel the last part of the month, the 24th and beyond. You're not as impacted by some of um, these situations. If you do travel wherever you are, it's acceptable for you to go to the east in the traveling, to the north of where you are in your traveling, um, to the southeast in your traveling, but not necessarily to the southwest. So if you're looking at going someplace, you can go almost any direction except for that direction, because there's a little bit of energy that's opposing your travel. So that could be you're stuck in traffic, delayed with a plane, delayed with a bus, something. So if you're going to make your plans to travel someplace, I would choose a place that's in three different directions except for the one. And that's around the 25th of October. Um, and if you're traveling, hopefully you're going to be traveling for a peaceful situation and not for work. All right, let's look at the rest of it. I'm going to stop and look at the 27th in a little bit more detail because I know someone whose birthday is the 27th. So let's look at the 27th in detail. Ooh, lots of energy on the 27th. So lots of energy on the 27th. And on the 27th, we see kind of a love-hate relationship with your image. You might be considering revamping your image. You're not exactly happy with, what it looks like today. So this could be revamping it in the front form of a new hairstyle or new weight routine or something, some change up into your body because there's a little image problem there. This is all on the 27th, by the way, that I'm talking about right this moment. On the 27th, there is also a little bit of conflict at work, so at a job. It's not a long-term thing. It's just a little aggressiveness on that day. Someone's a little overly aggressive. Could be you, could be somebody else. Maybe they want you to do something on that day. And still on the 27th, we see there's an awful lot of crossing energy. There looks to be like you have a love for your job, yet and still it's not what you want to do for the rest of your life. So you're making a plan. And on the 27th, you're reevaluating your plan to see how that, whatever your plan is and where you are with it and how long it would take you to actually leave the job because you're planning to leave the job, your current career. You want to leave it at some point and you're worried about that and thinking about that. And maybe that's why that confrontation occurs on the 27th. And then don't overdo it because your bones may be a little inflamed. It might be like we're not young anymore. Okay. So let's move forward then from that one and see anything else major. The last part, 30th, 31st, um, there is a lot of that energy. You guys by now know what the energy going on. Um, so most of that is I'm using New York Times, I don't remember. So most of that is actually dealing in the New York and to the east. So if you're in that area, be careful. And then let's see, let's move. There is a love season coming up of beauty. That's what it is. There's a beauty season. You're going to be all about some beauty artistic thing. The 18th, or is that the 17th? The 17th starts a cycle of beauty and things that are beautiful and things that make you feel beautiful. There's a lot of that. That's actually what's going to take you into the other part of your career. So that's actually a good move for you. is there Saturn? It's not, it is a good move, a good energy here. It's not like it is like something that's gonna take off, but it's not something that overnight success kind of thing. But it looks like it would be some type of beauty. That's arts, that's things that bring what people consider beautiful come to the light. That's going to be very important starting around the 18th or so for you. So that's the energy for you, Scorpio. You definitely need some peace, need to avoid the drama. Um, Go back over your plan, whatever plan it is that you have for moving your life in a different direction, and make sure that you, if you have this secret love, that you put your energy into it and don't be afraid to share whatever that secret love is with everyone else. All right. Have a good one.